Hey guys, it's Wednesday, July 15th. It's been a hard couple of days. Um, Yesterday I put a plus and a minus on the calendar, and I have to say it was mostly a minus, and I'll tell you why. I think I told you that I signed up with Mike the RN for home health care. It's still a question mark, and I've asked several times what's my share of this cost. With Susie being Part A Medicare, haven't gotten an answer yet. And I've joked with the nurse because I've asked her, and she's passed it on to somebody. I said, well, it must be free because they haven't answered my question. Free to me. So, I think I told you about on Monday morning, I was asking Susie if she wanted oatmeal and fruit and all that. And initially, she gave a nod to oatmeal and then no to fruit. And I was trying to understand her. And she's had a history of like gastric distress or I don't know, flatulence, bloating, whatever. And I have a feeling that I kind of went overboard on the fiber. I was so concerned about her having regular bowel movements. Not that I gave her a lot that she didn't have prior to hospitalization, but I think hospitalization was lower in fiber than what she was used to and may have acclimated to that. And now coming home and getting reintroduced to it might have been over the top for her. Just a guess, I don't know. Anyway, Monday morning, I think I told you that I asked her if she was having some distress, and she kind of acknowledged that. And I said, what if I make you eggs over easy, which is her comfort food? And she nodded yes, and so I put it together, and she ate most of it, 95% of it. So that was a good thing. I thought there was a breakthrough, making some progress, even though it's not, there's no fiber in eggs. It was moving in the right direction. Then yesterday, she doesn't want to eat breakfast, and then she doesn't want to eat lunch, and then she doesn't want to eat dinner. Now, I think the mistake I was making is I was trying to have a conversation with her about breakfast, lunch, and dinner like I did the previous day. And I was kind of thinking about this morning, and there's a quote, I think it's attributed to Michael Jordan of basketball fame. And I think it goes something like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't shoot at the basket, you're never going to make a basket. And I think kind of correlating that to my situation is I was asking her if she wanted something. In the hospital, they don't do that. They just bring the food, okay? So that was kind of my approach this morning. I brought her oatmeal with banana and a little brown sugar, and I sliced up a nectarine, and I brought it to her, and she protested, and I just left the room like you would in the hospital. Came back, I don't know, 20 minutes later, something like that, when she'd eaten a small portion of it, 5 or 10%. Not a lot. She made it clear that she was done. She'd taken off her little towel that I use as a bib and pushed the tray table away. And so I'm doing that for lunch, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got several boiled potatoes, which is something that she liked in the past and ate almost every day with peas. And I'm knowing she's telling me no to that, but she also likes couscous. So I did a little amount of couscous in the microwave, and she had some garbanzos the other day that she ate, and I said, okay, I was asking her, big mistake, about what she'd eat, like garbanzos, couscous, and maybe some peas. Anyway, that's what I brought her, garbanzos, peas, and couscous, and that's something in the past she would have, no problem, been all over it. Anyway, she didn't want it. She pushed the tray table away. I left the room for probably 15-20 minutes, went back in, nothing was touched, so I took it out. So essentially it's been a little over a day and a half of her really not eating anything. She is drinking prune juice, about 6 ounces at every meal time. That was kind of the routine. In addition to water, she would drink prune juice, and I was happy for that because it would help keep her regular. But you can't survive on water and prune juice. And last night I told my neighbor that I was going to go out, had to go to Home Depot because I thought the shower curtain rod I got from Amazon was too big and I couldn't adjust it. Problem was I didn't read the directions and made an assumption. So I went out and bought another shower rod. And then when I'm reading the Amazon write-up when you buy it, it's saying it's adjustable in a certain dimension that fit my dimension. So I went back and looked at it again. Turns out I was able to make that work. So I need to do a return to Home Depot of the one I just bought. And while I was at Home Depot, I thought I better stop by Safeway and get more of this prune juice. And so I bought every bottle they had of this size. It's 32 ounces. And one bottle lasts, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, something like that, at her current rate of consumption. So I bought every bottle they had, which was 5. And I'm hopeful that Susie will continue to drink the stuff. There is a possibility she'll say, I'm done with prune juice, and guess who's going to be drinking a lot of prune juice? So, let's see. Yesterday, at noon, Tiffany, the physical therapist, came by and worked with Susie a little bit. Susie was very resistant. We have the wheelchair, but I haven't put her in the wheelchair yet. Part of that is because you need a seat belt kind of thing to hold you in, keep you from falling out accidentally. Didn't realize that when I ordered it that it didn't have it, so I ordered that, and it's due to be delivered tomorrow. So Tiffany worked with her a little bit in terms of stretching her leg that has paralysis, and they get very tight and painful, and it's something that needs to be done several times a day, and that's something that I have to do that I haven't been doing. And then after Tiffany, so Susie wouldn't get in the wheelchair. She wouldn't sit on the side of the bed. All these things are things that are precursors to getting in the wheelchair and also maintaining an upright posture. And in the past, she's been kind of leaning toward her strong side, which is to the right. And she really doesn't have a sense of that she's off balance, off center. So that's an important thing for her to develop. And so she didn't want to even do sitting on the side of the bed. So we have an appointment with a doctor on Monday that's going to be her primary care physician. We've never met this gentleman. And so I've told you before, I'm not approved to put her in the car, or take her out of the car, anything to do with transfers to the car. And I've been trying to get approved for something that the local, it's called VTA. It stands for Valley Transit Authority, and they have like light rail and buses in the South Bay. But they also have a service for people that are wheelchair bound, and I'm sure it goes beyond that. All I know of it is for people in wheelchairs, where you can essentially stay in your wheelchair, drive onto this, or get pushed onto this vehicle, and they'll strap you down, and you and or she and myself can ride to her appointment. Now, there are limitations. You have kind of a relatively large window of time that you need to allot for. You don't have to be out at the curb for all that time, so they'll come to your front door and help you bring the person out, which I'm grateful for. But as of right now, I'm not approved for this thing. And I've had several conversations and submitted documentation, both doctor's letters, and there's a form that's pink, bright pink in color, that is, I think I've talked about this. It's like a DNR, directives for care or denying care. And Susie participated in completing that by nodding her head yes and no with the physician's assistants there. They basically documented it and signed it and said, I'm her, responsible caregiver, or whatever you want to call it, decision maker, healthcare decision maker. So I had a conversation today, phone interview. I think it went well, but like they're telling you you'll get something in the mail in 10 days, and they say, listen, I've got this appointment. It's going to cost me a fair amount of money if I have to hire private. Really prefer to use your service. Is there any way to work this out? And so the woman said, yeah, call tomorrow morning, tell them your situation, see if they can give you the results, and go from there. So I'm hopeful. And so tomorrow's Thursday. You can't make a reservation more than 3 days in advance. So I have to call back on Friday to make the reservation. And you pay a nominal amount. I think it's $4 in each direction, at least for where we're going. But you have to have money already deposited in advance. And if you don't have money deposited and you're trying to make a reservation on the weekend, you can't, because you don't have access to money. Their system doesn't work, money system doesn't work on the weekend, so you have to make sure you have a balance in there that can take care of all that. So nothing monumental, but it's just another detail you need to account for. So I mentioned Susie did a little bit of physical therapy, and I'm filming it so I can use it as a tutorial. And then she had an appointment that was at noon, the physical therapist, and at 1, she had scheduled with Alexandra to give her a bath. Well, I didn't have the shower doors. I took them down, but I didn't have the shower ready and didn't have the shower bench ready. It was assembled partially, but not ready. And Alexandra told me that if the shower wasn't ready, we'd just do a sponge bath. So that was really good for me to see and participate in. I told her that I want to participate. I did a little bit, not much. But Alexandra was excellent. She is really efficient. She's a healthcare, I forget, the home healthcare aide. I think it's kind of the lowest person on the pecking order. I asked her where she's from, because she had to me, an Eastern European accent. She's from Russia. I'm guessing that she's somewhere between 25 and maybe early 30s. I asked her about, what she did in Russia, or what her level of education was, and what she studied. And then she said she studied to become a lawyer. I didn't ask her if she became a lawyer, but I said, well, why are you thinking of becoming a lawyer in the U.S.? She said, no. She said, I really want to work in healthcare. I want to become a nurse. And I said, well, you'd be good at it. I'm confident you would be a very good nurse. And she said, well, really what I'd like to be is a doctor, but I don't know if that's in the cards, both money and, it's like the time commitment to get the education, all that. So anyway, she was a blessing. She did a wonderful job. Susie initially was resistant, but toward the end, Susie was just like, I think, floating on air, because she was getting really, really, really nice care and being cleaned. And so she hasn't been cleaned since she came home last Thursday. And I don't know when she was bathed prior to that. I know that on Saturday, a week ago prior to coming home, I participated in giving her a shower at the hospital, but I don't know if she'd had anything since then. So it easily could have been over a week. At the hospital, they try to bathe you twice a week. That's the goal. And most of the time I wasn't around for that, so I don't know what the reality was. So that was yesterday. Today we had Kristen, the nurse, scheduled, and all these guys are giving you windows of time, like a 30-minute window or 1 hour window. I'll be there between 1:30 and 2, and then they're spending 30 minutes to 45 minutes providing the service. And so the second person was Samantha, the second person on the list for services, and she's a physical therapist. She works with Tiffany, who was here yesterday. And Samantha knew that she was going to be dealing with a tough cookie, that Susie wasn't necessarily a willing participant. And sure enough, Susie was not a willing participant, or really couldn't get her to be willing to do anything. And you really need the patient willing. I mean, you can't impose it. And my concern is Susie's going to do what she did in the hospital and shut people down, shut people out. My feeling is that if she's not participating, whatever Medicaid is willing to pay for, and that's not clear yet, what they're willing to pay for, that will get shut down. And I've told her, I said, you can do what you want to do here, but if I'm not getting trained and I'm not getting support, you can't stay home. I'd like you to stay home, and I think you'd like to stay home. She acknowledged she wants to stay home. But she's not willing to be. I said, this is a partnership, you and me. It's not just you. And if you are making decisions, then I'm going to have to make decisions too. And it's not something I want to do. But you're not going to give me any choice. So I'm feeling like I'm kind of at my wit's end. I don't like admitting that. Not sure what to do about it. She hasn't really eaten today. I mean, she ate 5 to 10% of what I gave her oatmeal-wise, and the couscous peas and garbanzos she wouldn't touch. She is still drinking her prune juice, so that's good. She's still drinking water, and she seems to have a good, amount of urine when I'm, draining the catheter bag, and it's relatively clear and relatively light, so that means that she's getting enough fluids and no bladder infection, evidence of bladder infections. So those are all things that I'm really concerned about and wanting to make sure that it's not a problem. But, she has to be willing to participate in the therapy and allow me to participate in terms of learning, because I feel like I'm way, 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 way behind the curve right now. So anyway, not good news. I'm trying to stay positive here. I haven't given up, but I don't know if she has not given up, and that really concerns me. I'm out on our little patio here. It's warm today. It's about 90. It's supposed to get up to 91. And tomorrow it's going to be a lot cooler. I think the forecast high is 81. But I'm just going to show you what I'm sitting around. I've got a ton of Amazon boxes. And the reason that I have these right now and haven't gotten rid of them are a couple reasons. One, this big box that I showed you right off the bat is what the wheelchair came in, and I'm a little skittish about getting rid of it until I've determined that the wheelchair is absolutely okay. It looks okay, but we really haven't used it. And the other boxes I'm keeping to put stuff in that either we need to get rid of or store, like all the king size pillows and stuff. I did see a possibility where we may be able to use the pillowcase covers. I ordered some wedges, and these are like foam things that you can stick under the side of the body to kind of rotate the body in a way, because it's really important that the body not sit in the same position. And supposedly every 2 hours you're supposed to do something about moving the body. I'm not even close to that. Fortunately, I do have a special air pad on top of the mattress that varies itself and is supposed to help prevent bed sores, but that's really not a good long-term strategy. So anyway, that's what's going on. She's not eating. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about her mindset, after the nurse left. And basically the nurse just checks vital signs, blood pressure, temperature, blood oxygen. So it's a relatively quick in and out. I mean, this is all stuff I could be doing, I think. But anyway, so I had to try to have a conversation with her, and I asked her, "Are you angry with me?" And she nodded her head yes. And she's been very obstinate, as I've mentioned before, about doing the head nod either way. And I've told her, listen, I like that you're trying to speak, but the only way we're going to communicate is when you're nodding your head to my questions. And so, at that time, I may have gotten 10% of the answers that I asked via nodding. She's not wanting to go for it. She's a very strong-willed person. So, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks much.